Well, what's up, guys? Yeah, it's been a while, but I got a couple of people that couple nice subscribers of mine that have been on my channel for a while, and they said you haven't posted in a while. Sweet Padre, what's up? And as always, I've been busy, but I've also, I'm gonna be honest, I left the Manosphere because I was in disagreement with a lot of stuff that was taking place in it. And generally speaking, I'm the kind of guy, I'm not about to start a conversation with other people. I'm kind of reserved, I keep to myself most of the time. And all the shows that were going on in the Manosphere, all that stuff, I said, this is just not for me. I was learning very little, which is one of the reasons why I initially was attracted to this space here, because any man can come in and learn something about the topic at hand. But excuse me, I'm eating while posting this video, but this serves as inspiration for me, food for thought. And yeah, I'm eating some sort of takeout here. But anyways, yeah, so a couple of people said, you haven't posted in a while, what's up? And I'm like, well, I've been busy, which is the truth. I've been busy with my life, doing my things, learning other stuff that I want to learn about, and just generally minding my own business, But today I said, let me post a video that I know for sure is going to help somebody. It's not the kind of video that will make headlines, right? Because some woman decided to be unfaithful to her boyfriend or whatever. This is not that, Here, in this channel, I mean, we are way past all that. My intent here was always, right, to talk to the man that knew for sure that he had walked away. Not the man that wishes to be involved. Not the man that still dreams of finding that special one. Although I must admit, there's something of that in every man, including myself. There's that sliver chance that, or the hope that, the sliver of hope that one day, we may come across that special someone, right? But she's just not out there, guys. These women are just selling themselves, and all for material stuff, for material gain. But today my topic is children, right? Children, and a couple of tips on how to deal with them. Children are special people. Children can be the most wonderful people you ever met. They are innocent. They are open about their emotions. They're not always good, They fight openly, right? But they're pure. They forgive, They forgive and they forget. And generally speaking, they go about their lives, just living, right? Not bothering anybody. They just want to do their own thing, including the little girls, until they reach puberty. That's when they start to become ugly. But both children, boys and girls, right? All the respect that they deserve for being what they are, Like I said, children are special people, and they're special because their hearts are pure. And I saw a video on another MGTOW channel Well, this guy's not really MGTOW. He's married, living with a woman, producing men's content. I mean, I respect the fact that he wants to help men, but one of the tenets of this philosophy was that a man was not to cohabit with a woman, right? That's what makes you a MGTOW. No marriage, no cohabitation, and no new children. But anyways, this man posted, and this, I mean, he's been posting political stuff. He's been posting all kinds of stuff, and it's one of the bigger channels, right? But he posted a video on, he put a post on children, and in this post, enticed parents to discipline their children physically, so as to mold their behavior. In the post, there was a child who was refusing to come off a table, or what appeared to be a centerpiece in the living room, and apparently the child would listen to the grandmother but not her parents, and the reason being, according to this post, or the implication of it, was that the grandmother had physically assaulted the child, perhaps on numerous occasions, and that ended up being the reason why the child was now willing to listen to the grandparent more so than even her own parents. And I said to myself, this is stupid. This is backwards. It's ridiculous. It is a failure in communication. You see, children are people, and one of the special things that one of the things that makes us special as humans is the fact that we can talk. We can, through speech, communicate our emotions and our thoughts to other people. No other animal on the planet does this to the degree that we do. And so we have the power of speech, you see, the power of speech. And even newborn children, the 99.9% of newborn children, right, that are born normal, meaning they're healthy, right, they can cry, right? They can cry as in they can talk, they can be loud, right? They can make sounds. And anyways, it's perhaps one of our greatest gifts as humans, right? From the creation, from nature, right? From whoever put all this together. And the fact that we can speak, that is a miracle in and of itself. And so, how do you go about making children listen to you, right? Well, the first thing is that you have to lead by example. See, children usually emulate more than they than they create. They're not out here creating their own social structures, right? Their own social phenomena, right? More often than not, they emulate the parents. They see what you're doing, and they do likewise. So if you want your child to smoke, smoke around them, right? If you want them to consume all sorts of legally controlled substances, teach them the way, right? But if you want them to be productive members of society, if you want them to behave in whatever way you want them to behave in, right? You behave in such that way so that they'll have a model that they can follow. See? So that's number one. If you're an asshole, you should have no reason to expect well-behaved children, or children that are not assholes like you. See? Well, there are, of course, always exceptions. But we take so much from our parents, and very often without even thinking much about it. That is, it's one of the ways in which people have sort of kind of categorized each other in days of yore, right? Who are you the son of, right? Who is your father, right? Very important stuff, right? Because if they know who your father is, right? If they know who your mother is, your family, right? Your family members, if they know who they are, they can pretty accurately gauge what you're all about, for the most part. And so, teaching by example, right? That is number one. And you want to teach the best, so that the best of you to the children, so that when they grow up, they can make of society a better place for us all, right? If you're a criminal, if you're a thug, if you're into stealing, if you have bad habits of all kinds, well, first of all, fuck you, and second of all, you shouldn't have children. But the second thing, and this is what, and I know most of my subscribers are not violent against children. I know that, the MGTOW men, especially the monks, tend to be men of letters, right? Especially the ones that that began having this conversation very early in the game. Almost a decade now. Almost a decade has passed since most of us, perhaps the second wave of MGTOW, the guys that were putting it all together. Almost a decade has passed since it all began. And so I hold you in high regards. I know you are not the kind of person that abuses children. But here's what I mean. A parent that physically assaults a child because the child does not follow directions is a parent that has lost control. And first of all, they're teaching this loss of control to the child. And second of all, many times the child does not understand why he's being punished or why she is being punished. Boys do tend to get physically punished more than girls, for the mere fact that they are quite often much more adventurous. But the girls get physically punished as well. And it's unfortunate that this still takes place at this day and age, the year 2024, year of our Lord, right? 2024 years after the birth of Christ. And no, I'm not a Christian. I'm just saying the date. 2024 years after the birth of Christianity. A religion that spoke of mercy, compassion, forgiveness, charity. You still have people out here, even Christians, right? Believing that it's okay to punch a child or to hurt a child simply because the child does not follow directions. That is a failure on the parent. That is a failure in communication. It is not teaching by example, or rather teaching by the wrong example. And it's quite wrong. Children are defenseless against adults. It's unfortunate that a lot of the abuse that takes place towards children is never discovered, right? Never really brought to light. That the government, but by the time the government actually gets involved into some sort of abuse case, a lot of abuse has taken place already. and the child ends up being traumatized. The child ends up being a nervous wreck, an improperly functioning member of society, right? There's also the decline in academic performance associated with children whose parents abuse them physically. And we're not even talking sexual abuse here. We're talking physical abuse. We're talking violence and assault against children. It is wrong. It is wrong in all levels, at all levels. Children are not to be hurt. Again, many times they don't have the reasoning ability to know why they're being punished. So it's a no-no. It is the undeveloped brain of a child is incapable of knowing, many times is incapable of fully understanding why you are punishing them, why you hurt them physically. And this physical punishment comes also attached with emotional abuse very often. And the child feels as though he's not loved. You see? As if he is alone in the world, indefensible. And he feels that way because that's the truth. They're indefensible against a monster. It's not okay to hurt your children. It speaks volumes about the kind of person that you may be as a parent if you hurt your child. Most of these adults that punish children physically are cowards themselves. They're the kind of people that will wait for somebody else that is stronger than them, to do whatever they want to them. You know, even shit in their fucking mouths. Most of these people are stupid. That's just the plain truth. They're stupid. And the mark of a civilized society is how, a lot of it has to do with how we communicate with each other, right? Talking like adults, persuasion instead of force. And I look at perhaps we learned this from our government officials, our elected government representatives, right? Many of these people, some of whom are lawyers by trade, you would think they know better, right? You would think that they will know that diplomacy shall reign supreme, as opposed to us resorting to violence, right? Everything is just, let's go to war. Let's go to war. Let's physically assault others. Let's trespass into their territory. Let's punish them. Folks, we have to grow up. We have to grow up, not physically, but we have to grow up intellectually. We have to grow up emotionally. We have to move away from this mindset of violence. We have to move away from this mindset that we're just going to resort to violence if people disagree with us. We have to, and that includes children. Right? We have to persuade others. We have to convince them of the things that we want them to do and of how we see the world. If we want them to share in our philosophy, if we want them to share in the way in which we see life. Violence is a no-no. Against children is especially a horrendous thing to witness. Yeah? And it's usually the most backward people that do this. The most backward people tend to just put their hands on a child right away, and we have to keep in mind that these children will grow up one day. One day they will be adults, and many times, if everything goes well, they will one day be stronger than we are. We are going to get old. We are going to be fragile, right? What sort of thoughts do we want going through the minds of these children that were abused, right? Wouldn't we want them to be sensible adults instead, so that they will gladly take care of us, so that we can as elderly folks safely walk down a sidewalk, knowing that we're not gonna be aggravated, assaulted by someone who's an emotional wreck, and whose mind is quickly into resorting to violence, right? Because to them that's just the way it is. Folks, we don't want that. We have to move away from this. We have, for as long as people keep hitting children, we're gonna have crime, and I mean serious crime. It's well known that a lot of the guys, a lot of the men that find themselves behind bars now, serving some sort of prison sentence, they've been abused. They've been victims. They've been victims, and they are, or they have also been, as a result, the victimizers. And instead of us, saying, well, wait a minute, it starts with the children. Let's take care of the children. Let's respect the children. Let's treat them with decency and respect, right? Instead of us saying that, I see people, subscribers with a lot of, these are not subscribers, content producers. These are content producers with a lot of subscribers, advocating violence against children. Folks, this is wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. I don't wish violence on anyone, especially unjustified violence. Children are adventurous. They're curious about the world that surrounds them. They want to touch everything. They want to experience everything. Everything's new to them. See? And quite often, if you approach a child with a calm, clear mind, understanding that they are gonna sort of break the rules of society simply because they don't know them, right? They have to be programmed into following these rules, right? So they break them unknowingly, right? Standing on a table, because it's fun, right? They stand on a center table because it's fun. They don't know any better. They don't know the table was designed only for us to put stuff on it, not to jump on it. Same with a mattress or a chair or whatnot. And so we have to explain to them, you cannot jump in the mattress, because if you jump on the mattress, the springs become weaker, the mattress will break sooner, and so forth and so on, right? You explain to them that perhaps they can get hurt. If the mattress is cheap enough, one of the springs could actually poke one of their feet, then they'll just have one foot. And if they have one foot, now they're limping for the rest of their lives. Do you think they're going to want to jump on the mattress now? Most likely not, right? So it's all about persuasion. Persuasion instead of force. Negotiation, right? Negotiation. And if you cannot convince them not to take a hit of that crack pipe, right? If you cannot do that, then by all means you have failed, and that's on you. That's not the child's fault. If you can't keep them from stealing, that is because perhaps they saw you stealing, right? And there's that double standard. Why should they respect you if you're violent, right? So I hope this is not the case. I know it's not the case for most of the people watching this video, you know. But it's good to put it out there because somebody might be watching and they just don't know how to deal with children. And I never had to help, you know, my children. I never had to hit them. One time I put my daughter in a closet and I put it there for a few minutes and I said, you can come out when you calm down, right? Because you are being too hyper. And that was that. That's all that it took, just one time, you know. And she, the minute she calmed down, you know, I opened the door and she came out. And that was that, right? And that was my way of letting her know that, you know, her behavior was not to be tolerated in my household. And that I was the one to make the rules because I knew better and I am the parent. I'm older and I have way more experience than they. And that's that. No need to physically assault them, you know. And so, yes, they're gonna grow up. You know, they're gonna grow up to be stronger than we are. And you know, what sort of memories do they want them to have of us, right? Do we want them to reminisce about the good times that we spent together? You know, eating a watermelon, you know, a watermelon by the pond. You know, riding bicycles, that sort of stuff. You know, that's what matters, folks. You know, we're in this life, and you know, many of us are not sure why we're here. You know, I suspect it's because we have to grow. We have to grow as human beings, as people. We have to grow. We have to fix the ugly inside of us. You know, myself included, right? We all have to do it. I suspect that's why we're here. But could be other reasons, you know. Some people say they have to serve the Creator and do the good deeds that they were, you know, put on this earth to do. We don't know. But, you know, physically assaulting children, it's not the way to go about anything positive, that's for sure. And you know, people respect you if you can convince them of something, right? Not just children. If you can state your case, right, in a clear, concise way, you know, and you can change their mind about something, right? Something that will improve their lives, right? They'll respect you for it. And I'm not saying this because I'm posting this video, you know. My hope, my sincere hope is that, you know, someone who didn't know how to deal with children now has a better, more clear understanding of how, you know, how to do so. Right? It's about time, guys. It's all about time. It's about knowing that they're going to be adults. They're not going to be children forever. You know, and they want to love you, right? They want to love you. The other thing is, you never want to speak ill of their mother in front of them. You never want to say anything wrong about their mother in front of those children. Never, ever, ever, ever. You know, even if the mother was a piece of shit, you never want to fight in front of the children. You never want to say anything negative about that woman. And I know what you're thinking. You're saying that woman was a bitch. Yes, it's true. It's true. She was a bitch, you know, and she did you wrong in more ways than one. And the government was there to help her all along. And they did a big number on you. We know that. That's why we're here. That's why we are MGTOW, you know. But it, you know, it hurts. It hurts the children, you know, to have to listen to their parents fight. It shatters their world, and it hurts them also when somebody speaks ill of their mother. I mean, I don't know anybody that will say, yeah, it makes me happy when somebody else speaks trash about my mother. You know, nobody ever says that. You know, even the most, you know, the most devoted MGTOW monks, Guys that, there are guys out here, and I know, because I know there's at least one monk that lives with his mother out in, I think it's Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken. Could be somewhere else. I don't know where the guy lives, but nobody ever wants anybody else to speak ill of their mother. And there are a lot of bad mothers out there. It's true. A lot of horrible mothers that hate their children, mothers that lie, that mothers that were horrible wives, mothers that steal, mothers that do drugs, horrible human beings, but nobody ever, no man would like another man to, or anybody else for that matter, to speak ill of their mother. So don't do it in front of your children, because they are powerless, in the face of what you may say, right? In their eyes, you and their mother are still together, and will always be together. That union was a special union to that child. The union you had with that woman was a special union to that child. In their minds, there was love there, not just lust. See, and you as an adult, you brought them to this earth through your actions, right? And most of the time there was love involved, and they are the result of that love, and they don't want to think anything less of that, and that's the way they see it. Their parents united, even if she's fucking 20 other guys every week, and her belly got, her beer belly is growing by leaps and bounds, right? Even if she's ghetto and she's a piece of shit, in their minds, you and her mother are special, and that is the union that counts. To those children, that's just how it is. So you don't want to shatter that. These are very delicate matters. In addition to knowing that, if you resort to violence, when it comes in your dealings with your child, right, there are some legal repercussions, and even if there are legal repercussions that you may have to deal with, there's always that emotional, thinking in the back of their minds. I said, this guy's a fucking idiot. My father's an asshole, because trust me, they will demote you as a man quicker than they will their mother. That is just a given. That's just a given. You will never be as special to them as their mother. 99.99% of the time, that's just how it is, right? And everybody else out there is validating that, even if it's not true, right? There's the Mother's Day. There's women are put on a pedestal on all sorts of media, right? The sunshine comes out and they put a woman right next to it. They put a woman right next to the sun, to kind of associate her with that special symbol of life, right? And that's just the way that these children grow up, And if you are stupid enough to hurt them physically, I don't know what to say. It's not gonna work out for you. It's not gonna work out for you. So children are to be treated as adults. They're to be in the sense that you don't expect them to act as adults, because they don't have the experience, right, in the life experience, to make rational, cool, calm, calculated decisions about, say, a financial, transaction of sorts, right? They don't have that, but they are to be treated as adults in the sense that, okay, they're going to be treated with respect, and they're going to be treated with love and care and decency, and not be assaulted. And that's what I have to say about children. I tell you, with my children, and yes, I'm, I like to say I'm a victim of, I must come clear, I'm a victim of the subtle persuasion that women do, right? That women exert onto their children, right? To drive them away from the father. I'm a victim of that, and so are many of you, right? But being violent is not gonna help your cause. It's not gonna help anybody's cause. And I'm not putting this video out here to scold anybody, except that asshole that should know better. Putting bullshit out there like that, content that is bullshit out there like that, suggesting that children should be physically punished. I mean, where the fuck are you, man? Last time I checked, this was America. And let me tell you, people, I'm an immigrant myself, and people come to this country, or anyways, they used to come to this country. People used to come here because they thought the best of Americans. They really did. Especially back in the 80s, 90s, when I came to this country. People thought of Americans as special, and I'm proud to call myself an American. This country, I'm not going to talk about the politics, but let's just say, of course we've seen better days. We've seen better days, that's for sure. But the mindset of people around the world was that Americans were special people. People who were smart, people who were dedicated, people who were diplomats instead of warriors, for the most part, right? I mean, Vietnam did a lot to destroy that, right? And all the other wars after that, right? But for the most part, people thought, diplomacy instead of war. That's the American way. And I hope that's the way that you choose to interact with your children from now on. It's only going to make society better. And who knows, maybe one day they'll take care of you. And they'll do so with a smile, in the same way that you treated them. Anyways, thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.